Hello and welcome to a new and different IndiComix. This is not our episode 150 yet, but this is a bonus and kind of like a little preview as to what IndiComix is going to become. So if you guys have been listening to the show, we've been kind of teasing and saying that, oh, well, this is things are going to be changing. Show's going to be different, and so this is it. If you're watching it on YouTube or if you're listening to it, you can't see it, and if you are, then you might be cyborg. But that's enough about me and the show. Let's talk about this awesome guest and this amazing, really like adorable Kickstarter. I have guest Terry Mayo, who's been in comics for a long, long time and a very well revered and great guy. I've met you a few times and you're fantastic. But yeah, Terry, I'm gonna stop gushing and let you talk.
Well, thank you. I'm over here blushing now. Thank you very much.
How you been? What have you been up to? And tell us a little bit about Buddy Number One.
All right, all right. No, I've been good. I've been good. It's been a fun month so far. May has been, but it's good. I'm good. I'm fun. I'm having a good time. I was hoping Dave, the artist, could join us, but he's on another. He's doing a live stream right now with a drawing
Yeah.
because he's super more talented than I am. But but the Kickstarter, buddy. Yeah, I mean it started. Gosh, I bet what 9 days ago. So it's called Buddy. It's basically the tagline is Milo and Otis meets The Exorcist, and it is just as adorable as you can imagine something like that would be. But it's what 36 pages of a pug and a cat just fighting evil, and that's what else does the world need right now
E-
besides that? So
Exactly. I mean it sounds adorably terrifying to me, and that's two things I love. So I'm so excited. Can you tell us about how did you get your team together? I saw like Zen's on it, and he
yeah.
is awesome. I love that guy tell and Dave is awesome. Yeah, tell how do you get the team together?
Well, Dave and I, we worked together previously on a couple of short stories about 3, 4 years ago for The Wicked Righteous. We did a couple of short stories for that.
Yeah.
And then Zen, I've known for a while. I did a comic book signing at SoCal Comics here in San Diego, and he showed up, and that was 2015, 2016, and we just hit it off. He's a cool guy, great guy.
Yeah.
Glad to have him on. Yeah, he's doing letters and editing, so he's gonna be magic all over that book.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's definitely an A-plus team. I mean, working with somebody that you know, and Zen is awesome. Like, not only is he a great person, I met him a few times through Hannibal Taboo, but like, man, his work is so good. But let's talk a little bit about about just Buddy Number One. It like you said, it's Milo and Otis meets the Exorcist, and what kind of story is this? Who's the main character? Who is Buddy?
So Buddy is a an obnoxious little turd of a pug, and he's based on a real pug that I had a couple years ago. And Buddy, the real pug, was just as obnoxious of a turd as you can imagine. So there was one day I live in San Diego and my family all lives in Texas, so we were getting
Oh
ready
wow.
to make that half country trip, and Buddy was at the bottom of the stairs, looking up at the top of the stairs and barking. And so my imagination started, wandering, and I was like, "Oh, does he see a ghost? What does he see? What does he see that I can't see?" And the story just kind of morphed from there. I've always been into horror and love Night of the Living Dead, love The Exorcist, love Children of the Corn, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And so I was like, what world would I love to shove this little dog into and watch him have fun? So yeah, there's where
absolutely.
you get Buddy.
Oh my god, yeah, that sounds amazing. Oh man, I love that origin of how the story came about because I love stories about animals, especially dogs, and like when they are like inspired by an actual event or something like that. Just like something like a little like where we all think like it's like oh man, what if something like what is my cat staring at? What if something is there? Is that an alien?
Yeah.
No, I love that. So when you're mixing, this cutesiness to it that you obviously see with the art and with something terrible. I mean, what are you using as references and also as like kind of like to use to basically create a good horror element to it?
Yeah. I have 7 kids and 1 kid on the way, all boys, and I know you
Wow.
can't really get. Yeah, yeah, I'm busy. I'm a busy guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, and I know you can't get anything past kids nowadays. I mean, they're way smarter than I ever was at that age. Probably they're smarter than I am at this age, but they're pretty smart.
Yeah, that's how I feel about me too.
So, so I know you can't really pull punches. You can't
Yeah.
try to sneak anything by. So the influence of the art, I was going for more of like a colorful, more of a friendly, more of like a whimsical, like Cartoon Network type feel. But I didn't want to shy away from the fact that we are dealing with like a demonic possession at some point in this
Yeah.
book. Um, so that it is one of my lighter books, I guess you could say. But a lot of my other stuff is more R rated. It's got that edge to it. This one has an edge, but the edges are kind of ground down so that
Yeah.
any age can pick it up and it'd be appropriate.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm so excited to read this and pick this up, and I'm gonna back it right after this. I'm so excited to dive into the world of Buddy and an adorable evilness, and with Kickstarter being such a big deal during this whole ordeal that we've been dealing with for the past year. I mean, it's been an avenue that a lot of creators have been using. Can you tell us, I mean, a little bit about your experiences with it? Working on it now can maybe compare to before because you've used Kickstarter before, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So I used Kickstarter about 3 years ago on the collected trade for The Wicked Righteous,
Yeah,
and I was with a publisher at that point, so it was more like, getting the project out there. It was less about the money and more like just getting more eyes on it and kind of getting a little bit more press on it.
yeah, of course,
Um,
absolutely.
because I mean, that Kickstarter is great for that. It's just as far as like getting it out there and getting the eyes on it. And really, that's kind of what Buddy was too. Not saying, I mean, money's awesome. I'm not going to say no to any
Yeah,
pledges. I'm not going to say no, thank you. But I really wanted just people to kind of see this project and then see what Dave and Zen and I have been working on. Because we started on this a good 2 years ago before the pandemic, and
oh
we put it on
wow,
pause. Yeah, we put it on pause during because I'm a nurse, and I really, it's not something I could focus on during the last year. So,
yeah,
um,
absolutely.
but this time, this go around with Kickstarter has been a lot less stressful than it was the first time. Just not so much, not because we hit the goals so quickly or anything like that, but I think it was more Kickstarter for me is really user friendly now, a lot
Yeah,
more than it was a couple years ago.
they kind of found ways to incorporate like being user friendly essentially to like
Oh,
little bit
yeah.
like literally everybody. Yeah,
Right. I mean, it basically built itself. So I was like, oh, okay, well, yay, yay for me. It was good. And but um, but yeah, no, it's been a good experience this time. And a couple people have asked me how I felt about Kickstarter, and I'm a big Kickstarter backer. Most of my books nowadays do come from, well, they've always been mostly indie, but now they're coming. A lot of them come from the crowdfunding.
of course.
Uh, yeah, I just love it.
Do you think there's a difference now? Like, would you consider them maybe two different like wavelengths now, like where something is indie comics and something is a crowd funded uh book?
You know what? I'm not sure really how to judge that. What I can say is that as far as like the bigger projects that are on Kickstarter, like from like the Keanu Reeves project, I think is the one that stands out for
Yeah,
most people.
absolutely.
I'm really all for it. I'm a big believer that if you want to make a comic, you should be able to find that avenue to get your art out there. Because why not? Whether it's
Yeah.
web comics or Kickstarter or a brick wall behind your house, whatever, just get your comic out there. Just be creative. So when Keanu Reeves is putting something out there, or Boom or whoever, I feel like that just gets more eyes on a Kickstarter to see these other projects
Yeah.
that maybe they wouldn't be seen otherwise. So I'm all for the more the merrier.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I love the fact that you feel like I know there's a lot of people who aren't privy with it, but the thing is like when you go to a Kickstarter, they also have similar they have the similar thing in the bottom, so at least and so other people are going to be getting attention, and but yeah, so like I really do appreciate that, and that's a great outlook, and I think I think it's yeah, like yeah, heck yeah, go you.
Yeah, yeah, why not?
What's the biggest hurdle that you've besides obviously a year being on pause?
Right.
That's a big creative hurdle.
It is.
What's another big hurdle that you've been dealing with Buddy?
Um, you know what? I think it's just my patience, honestly, because I just want to get them out there to the world so bad. And I feel like I feel like there's a lot of life in this story, and I want to get him out there. I want people to see him
Yeah,
and for him to catch on. Before the pandemic, we had a publisher, and we backed out, and it was a decision that I was like, oh, am I going to regret this? And I don't, but at the same time, it's one of those things. I'm like, I want as many eyes on this book as possible, just because because it's a personal story for me, and
of course.
I'm a dog person, and I love my buddy. I want
Yeah,
other people to love my buddy too.
absolutely. He's a good boy, and he needs to be, he needs to be loved by everybody out there. So I
That's right. He needs a lot of forever homes. So,
absolutely. And I want to end this episode actually, asking you about maybe the states of just indie comics as a whole right now. I mean, you've been in this industry for a while. You've seen some changes. I mean, there's been massive changes in the indie comics alone in the past 10 years. Do you
mhm.
think that we are either in or going into a golden age of indie comics, or do you think it's already past?
I like to think that we're going into it. There's so many great things that are either like they came out in the last couple of years or they're just right on the cusp, whether it be like Vault or TKO or even the ones that have been around a minute like Aftershock or whatever. There's so many great bookstores. I mean, you can just keep naming them: Source Point Press or
Yeah,
Scout. I mean, there's just so many options, and they're all quality things that you can reach out to. So I feel like there's no wrong answer right now out there in the indiescape. And yeah, so many great avenues to be creative with. So I think this is a golden age. If we're not in it right now, then we're close to approaching it.
absolutely. Is there anything that you like that you're looking forward to from other people that you would also like? Because I know you're one of those people who love to support other creators as well.
hmm Yeah, anything by Ryland Grant, I'm gobbling up and I'm eating it. Dave Pepos, anything that he's putting out.
Yes.
The Scouts Honor book was just yeah, can't say enough about that. Just I blown away every time I read something by some of the peers that I used to hang around with the Comic Cons. I'm just like blown away, and I'm like ashamed and want to put my laptop away and be like, no, I'm not worthy, because just every page is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that's why I support, because it's awesome. It's awesome seeing everybody do so good with what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm friends with a lot of people who are comic book creators, and because of this year, they were able to create a lot more stuff, or at least have more ideas. Do you think that, like, maybe even just this break, how unfortunate it is, do you think that that also might be a big drive that will help the comic book industry after this, or do you think it might? I mean, do you see it as a good or bad thing possibly for the industry?
I mean, if you had to label something like that, something good coming out of something like that, then yeah, I would say there's good, in the fact that you have these people that have all this pent up stuff or this
Yeah.
creativity that they need to get out. I mean, just like myself, I mean, Buddy's the first of like three projects that I have coming out in the next year that
Oh,
all
that's
are
great.
born within the pandemic. And
Yeah.
talking to other people, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, they have all this stuff, and uh, the cool, well, not cool, but one of the things about everybody's been through is that it forces you to dig up all those emotions that you normally wouldn't feel.
Of course.
Uh, so yeah, yeah. I mean, it's if you had to say something was good about the pandemic, then yeah, that was a good thing that came out of
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, thank you so much for being here, and I'm so excited. I mean, you guys have already killed it. Just in the first, 10 or 12 days, you already funded, and it's going to grow. And I want this to be seen. I really hope this helps, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk to you and see you. It's always such a joy to say hi to you and see you at conventions because you're always so nice. And I'm so glad to be able to do this. You're our first person to do any of the video stuff for Indie Comics. I literally just got done doing the animating the backgrounds and stuff today. So, um,
Nice.
I'm so happy to talk to you. I'm so glad to see that you're doing well and you're creating. And I'm so excited to see your next project. And Terry, where can everybody find you? And anything else that you want to announce or anything that you want to plug here? This is your time to shine.
Got it. No, well. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All of it is at MayoTL, so MAYOTL, and that's any of the social medias. And then as far as you know what obviously, I would love if you guys checked out Buddy, but also stay on Kickstarter and look at some other projects. You guys have a lot of cool stuff out there. Charlie McKelvey's got a good book out there.
Yep,
So just stay on Kickstarter. Find some cool stuff.
of course. But I'm telling you, definitely back Buddy number one. You have to. If you're watching this video, you have to. So because I said so. Anyway,
yeah, Tyler said so.
yeah, it is written. It's written in data. But yeah. Again, thank you so much, and thank you for listening in and watching our first video episode of IndiComix. Please go to our website, thegrandgeekgathering.com, for our other podcasts, our articles, our videos, and so much more. I stream on Twitch as always. Go check out Buddy number one. You don't need to hear anything else about us. Find us all on social media. Go back Buddy number one and everything Terry. Terry is a wonderful writer and a wonderful person. I can't wait to see him at conventions, so go say hi to him when you go to a convention. And, oh, actually, on that note, any convention, what's your first convention that you are planning to go to or hoping to go to?
You know what? I don't know. I've kind of reserved myself to say 2022 is going to be my year.
Yeah.
2021, I might sit out of. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. I don't think I'm gonna be doing anything this year. So, but anyway, yes. Have a wonderful week. Wear a mask and GGG.
Grand Geek Gathering.